So I actually had a training like this weekend, and I literally was at dinner with my family, and I put an AirPod in because she said, I'm not going to record this. And I'm like, I'm not going to miss this. Like, there is no way. I'm not doing it. I just inconvenienced my family. It didn't matter because I'm going to attend the call. So I love that we have 26 people on here right now, because that means you guys are all committed to your business and you are going to do what it takes. You're going to, you can be mad at me. That's fine. I don't care. But I wanted to make sure you were here and understand, because it's going to lead into what we're talking about tonight. So let me pull up my slides. We are going to talk about share. Okay. We are going to talk about educating versus promoting. This was a very cool training that I got this weekend. And I texted Chandler immediately and I was like, I have to share this with the team, because I know for me, it's something that I struggle with. I typically am more of an educator. It's naturally what I want to do. I want to tell people everything about everything. I want to learn everything about everything. And then I want to be able to provide that to my audience. And that's great. And there's a time and a place for educating. But if you think about the people you follow on social media, the ones that you like, you look for their posts, you search for their stories, you want to know what they're into, it's because they're promoting something, whether it's whatever product that they have, that they're an ambassador for, or if it's a new workout outfit that they have on, or if it's a new meal that they've cooked or they've created or something. Like, they're promoting it. They're giving you this, like, I want to know what's going on. And if I don't know what's going on, I'm going to be super bummed about it. But we want to always we want to have people keeping, we want them to want more. Right. So I'm just going to here we go. It's FOMO, right? So leave them with questions. Less is more. Fear of missing out. I always like to tell this story about, so my son, he's 5. He did not sleep as an infant. At 3 weeks old, he started taking 30-minute naps. And I was like, WTF, what is happening here? And somebody told me it's because he had FOMO. And that was the first time I ever learned what FOMO meant. And it's true. The kid still has FOMO. He does not want to miss out on anything. He wants to be in the middle of everything all the time and wants to know what's going on all the time, never wants to go to bed. He's just worried he's going to miss something. So we want to, as ambassadors, we want to create that FOMO for our following, for our friends, for whoever is on our Instagram page. And there are certain ways to do that. And it might take some of us a little bit of practice to kind of figure out how to do that, because it's not innately what we do. But I promise you that if you try and kind of apply some, think about it as in different buckets of how to present information, it'll work. So we are about to, in September, we're going into the biggest event of Q's history. It's going to basically set a ripple effect of all the things to come. So not only are we going to have the product launches of collagen and of the terpenes, but there's other things coming after, like there's going to be sales in October. There's going to be something in November. There's going to be the Christmas cash. Like, Jake Spencer's been kind of dropping things and hints for us. I'm on the call. I'm sorry, guys. Fear of missing out. Wants to know what mom's doing in the office. Perfect example. Door is closed. He needs to know what's inside this door, what's happening in here. So anyways, it's going to be a ripple effect. And for Q, none of us have been here during a fourth quarter with Q Sciences, but every leader that I talk to says that this is when Q makes their most money. This is when we as ambassadors will make our most money. This is when we will have the most people join us. We will have the most customer volume. We basically are going to be bringing in more revenue in Q4 than we have in the entire year so far. That's freaking huge, especially because we've grown 800% already, and it's only the end of August. That's cool, right? But all of that depends on how we as ambassadors promote Q. So when we talk about educating versus promoting, like this graphic, it was sent out, someone created it, it's cute, it tells you all the things about collagen. This is an educational post or a graphic, right? I don't get excited when I see this. I see this and I think, oh, cool, that's what collagen does. But it doesn't invoke any excitement, and it doesn't make me feel like, oh, I want to know more about that. But for someone who likes to be educated on things, yes, this tells me everything that I would need to know about what collagen is going to do for me. So the big difference between educating and promoting is that if you have to educate someone on something in order to promote it, you don't know how to promote. What that means is if you are a person, and I feel like, and this is not, I'm not bashing anybody, I'm not trying to put anyone down. I want everyone to know that we need to understand our strengths and leverage our strengths and weaknesses, and then leverage the strengths of people on our team who have it. Like, for example, Chandler is a bomb promoter. Chandler has a way of just, you want to know what she's doing, and the way with words, she's good at promoting. She's not an educator. I am an educator, right? This is not something that I am naturally good at, but this is something that I felt was so important that I needed to do for my personal development, is that I will borrow a little bit from Chandler and how she promotes until I learn how to do that myself. But so let me back up a second now. So a lot of us have been asking a lot of questions about, like, what does the collagen do? How much is the collagen going to be? Does anybody know what the terpenes are? Can I have some who knows anything about everybody? We keep asking for more information, but the thing is, none of that information matters right now. Nobody has it. Our jobs as ambassadors is to promote. So we are excited about something. We have a feeling about something coming. And so I'm going to talk to you about different ways that you can educate versus promote. And this is not going to be a long call, you guys. This is going to be pretty short. So when we're educating people, we're telling them ingredients, we're sending them a PDF of something, we're talking about the science and research, we're saying, hey, our products, you can reduce inflammation because the products are, they're impacting you on the cellular level, like things like that, or how, Q-Core breaks the blood-brain barrier, so it actually helps with mental fog and fatigue and those types of things. Like the BioSync for Fuse, that's all science and research and facts, right? Like there's 1,500 milligrams of full spectrum hemp and 300 milligrams of CBD in the Fuse. That's educating on something, right? Those are facts, again, science and research and ingredients. And all of those things are great, but there is a time and a place for educating. Let me see, I'm just looking at my notes here to make sure I don't forget something. Okay, so I feel like a lot of us on this call, me included, feel like I can't promote something if I don't have all the education on it. So one of the takeaways from this call is that I hope you can understand that we don't have to have all the education, and to be like, nobody has it. Like, not even the leaders in the company, like nobody has it. Brittany Hitch doesn't have any more information on the collagen or the terpenes or what's coming than we do. We all know the same thing. So we're all armed with this exact same information to help us promote what's happening. So promoting is a feeling, like the excitement of, like, we are about to launch something that we're about to be first to market with a product line in the world. That is freaking huge. That is like what my husband gave me an example the other day of something huge, but like companies that have become first to market for things like Microsoft, or like MySpace, when they came up with like that was the first like collaborative social networking. Like, being first to market with something is huge. That means we have decided to aggressively innovate, which is down here and under experiences. Like we are experiencing that with this company. So when you can talk about your feelings about something, like when I went to the regional event in May, I felt so excited, like, but also I was fangirling out because I had been watching all of these leaders on Zoom and I was going to meet them. Like, what the heck? That was like so freaking cool because people can relate to people more than they can relate to a fact sheet. So talking about that, experiences, like the timing of the business, like Brooke had said, like it's an unsaturated market still. Like people still, we're not a household name yet. Like timing is everything with this business. So, you know, how does something taste? For example, for me, the cinnamon fuse, I don't like it. It tastes gross. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I love the berry fuse. So I'm going to tell you all about that because I love the flavor. I love the taste. And that's something that people can relate to more than like, there is natural berry flavoring in this, you know, as an ingredient in this product. And then innovation, like I said, using the phrase aggressively innovating is something that everyone should have in at least one post between now and the time that we go live with everything in September. Let's see. So I think, like I said before, like, hang on, let me go back here and make sure I don't miss anything because I get all excited and then I lose my words. And I think I might have lost a slide. Good. Hang on. I did lose the slide, so I'm just going to talk about it. When we are going to start promoting about a product or about just an experience that's about to happen for us, we need to be thinking in our head, like, what's the goal? Why are we doing this? When you sit down to write a post or you sit down to do a story, think to yourself, what's the goal? What am I trying to achieve? And your goal always should be to find your next leader, not to find your next customer, not to find your next, you know, ambassador, but to find your next leader on your team. That is the person you want to be speaking to. And so in doing that, you have to think about like, what is going to get a leader excited? Is a leader on a team going to be excited about the nitty-gritty details about something, or are they more apt to get excited about something like timing and innovation and being like exclusivity of something like that? That is really what somebody who wants to be a leader is going to get excited about. And so that is who the target audience should be when you're doing this. And Jake Spencer had said, and this is Kristen Wyatt had mentioned this, I had not heard him speak it before, but apparently he talks about this a lot when they have their meetings at the lodge. But he says niches don't get riches. Niches don't get riches, like whatever you want to make it so it rhymes. But like, we don't just have one product line. We diversify. We have lots of different product lines. We are aggressively innovating into a new product line with the terpenes. Like even essential oil companies aren't doing this with the, I mean, they have the means to, but they're not, right? So those are things to think about. So when you are promoting about something, don't just make it about one thing. Kind of think outside of the box and talk about everything. Talk about the excitement of team culture, about the excitement of the timing of just being in this business, about, you know, again, like the culture, the people. Just remember that it's think long term when you're doing that kind of stuff. Okay. So how can you do this? You're probably thinking like, okay, Siobhan, this is great, but like, how do I do this? How do I make this work? And hang on. I don't know what happened to all my slides, guys. I'm really like bothered by this right now. After this is supposed to be, what do leaders, what do they want from us? So they want to know, they get excited about being heard, about what kind of impact they're going to make, the exclusivity about something, timing, and we can kill that message if we dive into the details too much, right? So focusing on, again, the experience about something. If or when somebody joins us, that is what is going to speak to them. And if they, that's what's going to keep them engaged and want to follow you and want to continue to see what you're doing. So the way to do this, these are just a couple examples. You can post teasers, but don't give away too much information. Like, post a before and after about the collagen, but don't over explain what collagen is or what it's going to do for you. Just share. I just got my hands on the most amazing before and afters. You guys, this is after 7 days of use of our collagen that's going to launch in September. Look at her results. Done. Right? Somebody will be like, oh, that's cool. Collagen. I've used collagen for a long time, but it's never done that to my face or my, the décolleté. I can never pronounce that, but the lady's hands and like the hair, like that's never happened to me taking my powdered collagen, you guys. So I know that that's the same for other people out there. So talk about your experience. Like my example of going to, and it's actually my post, you can go back and read the post that I did yesterday. But my experience of going to a regional event, like being there in the room, experiencing Q, being shoulder to shoulder with my mentors who I've been watching on screen since I started, like actually getting to meet them, like that developed and created relationships that it wouldn't have if I wasn't there in person, right? So that was my experience there. Talk about your experience. If you haven't been to an event, talk about your experience with your upline. Has your upline done a 3-way call with you and helped you get an ambassador? That's something you can talk about. How we do these Mastermind Mondays calls and we just have leaders from other teams come in and pour into us. Like that's culture that you're experiencing. So talk about your experience, how it makes you feel, so that when your person is reading your post, they can resonate with those feelings. And then share seasonal trends, because again, for a leader, they're going to want to know if somebody is on the call or somebody is, floating through and looking through your social media and they stop on a post that talks about how Q has just 800% increased in their revenue, or they had 800% growth between January and today. Somebody who knows business is going to hear that and hear the excitement about it and be like, that's really amazing, right? And because of that, and because of that growth and you being a part of Q during that growth, that's had an impact on you. Like for me, that's put a lot of money in my family's bank account, right? Because that growth is something I was a part of. So it's talking about the feelings and the experience about it versus just the number. And then this one's specific to those of us who are going to convention, but I'll give one for people who aren't also. But talk about who you're going to get to meet, right? Like my next post is going to be, hi, yes, I'm going to meet a lot of you guys there, but I have a selfie with Brittany Hitch from the regional event. That's going to be a post of mine this week. I'm going to post a selfie with her talking about how I got to hear her talk about how she got to where she got. And then I'll edify her and say who she is, how they went from like not being able to buy dog food to now she could freaking buy dog food for everyone in California if she wanted to. She's making that much money. Like that's just it, right? She's able to provide for her family. It like gives everyone the goosebumps about it. So talk about, again, who is a person, right? That evokes emotion for people. If you can't do that because you aren't going to be at the event, talk about how you were just like, there's a call, I think it's a little bit after this one with Brooke and Brittany, how you were going to have the opportunity to get on a call with 2 of the top earners in the company, and they are going to share with us their tips and tricks for growing your business. Do you get to do that with your, like, do you experience that in your company? Even if you work in corporate, you guys, unless you're like a senior manager above, do you get to have the time of your VP? Probably not, right? You don't get to rub elbows and like, I don't know, spit game with those people. It doesn't happen because they're so high up the chain that it's not a thing. But here it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your rank is. Everybody's willing to help. Oh, look at that. There's my slide. It just had to come after. but it wasn't supposed to be there. But anyways, remember the goal of promoting is all I'm going to say on this one. Like people want to be heard. They want to know that if they join you, they're going to be able to make an impact. And we have advisory councils and equity councils. Those are ambassadors just like us, you guys. One day we could be on the equity council, we could be on the advisory council, we could be sitting at the lodge, and we could have an impact and be heard. Collagen is here, you guys, because somebody at the lodge at one of these like silver trainings or at one of these events said, have we ever thought about collagen? That's how collagen started. Pretty freaking cool. So I'm going to leave you with homework because you guys know we always love homework in our group, and then we're going to be done. So I want you to, and this really should be any post that you do, and it doesn't have to be long, it can be short, but create a post in story format, like intro, like body, and then conclusion, and usually put a call to action at the end of it. But in this post, talk about not what, but who, right? Or why. Talk about the feeling, share your excitement. It could be about anything that has to do with, it doesn't even have to be about Q. It could just be about something that's happening in your life right now. But do it in a story format, and that will get you used to just how you can share more in a promoting way versus a factual way. So I hope this was helpful. I know that it was really helpful for me this weekend when I heard it. So I'm going to stop sharing, and then we can hang for a few minutes if anybody has questions.